Hi guys, Darren from Venom Fluid Art. Today I thought I'd show you what I use for my pouring medium. Now, here in Australia we use Taubman's Easy Coat Door and Trim, which is a neutral base, so it's clear. These are both 4 litre cans, which is just over a gallon. Now, they're not created equal. Now, this one I bought about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. This one is a new one that I bought last week. Now, I was having a lot of problems with this one breaking up and the consistency of it. It didn't matter how much I thinned it out. You leave it overnight and it would go super thick again. So what I'm going to do is pop the lids off and actually show you what is inside. So I'll just put this into here and hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I'll move this one out of the way. That's the good one. This one's the bad one. Pretty crappy camera angle, but what do you do? So I'm going to pop the lid off. Now, whenever I use these, the lid goes straight back on after I scoop out my paint. So, that there is inside the can. And if we get a stir stick, you can see that is just one big goopy mess of snot. So that there is super thick and not much good for pretty much anything. So what I'll do is give that a quick stir. See if we can thin it out a bit by stirring it up. Mix that. Naturally, when you mix this sort of stuff, you go super slow. That way you don't create air bubbles in it and cause all sorts of dramas. So, gave that a bit of a stir, and it's still like super thick. Where's the camera? There. So it just drops off like pudding. Doesn't sink back. It just stays there forever and a day. So what I'm going to do is actually mix up a couple of colours with that. I'll put that to one side there maybe. Okay. Grab a stick. Alright, grab a stick. Now, what I'll usually do is, with pigments, I'll go 4-to-1 with Joe Sonia. And for tube paints, it's about 3-to-1. So, there is some wiggle room. So what we'll do is use an 80mm scoop. Scoop some of this goo into there. Now that is super thick. Okay, so we've got 1 full scoop, which is 80mm. I'll put that into a plastic cup. Look at that. Like super thick. Okay, so we'll scoop that one out. Now the reason I go 4-to-1 on pigments is because you add Joe Sonia in to disperse them. So it'll be a lot thinner by the time you mix it up. So by adding 4 parts of the untinted, it evens out. Alright, so then we get a 20mm scoop. Add some J. Sonia to it. Pop the lid if I can find it, open it. There it is. So we'll go 20mm of this. Grab another one. That one's empty. With these, remember there's a cap underneath. You've got to take that off. If you don't, it won't come out. Alright, so we'll pop that. Squirt a bit more in. Alright, so there's 20mm, which gives us 4:1. 4 parts of the untinted, 1 part J. Sonia. Right, so give that a bit of a mix. Now that took out the camera. Nice job, Daz. Mix that in. Now that is still quite thick. Now the problem with this is, if I leave that overnight, it'll thicken right up, like really thicken up. Pretty much to what it is inside the can. So something has gone wrong with that paint. And it doesn't end well because you're constantly thinning it out the whole time. So put that to one side. Alright, now what we'll do is grab the good can. Keep that over there. Pop the lid off this. Okay, so that's the new one. You can see it already moves in the can. Give that a mix. Try and go nice and slow so you don't introduce air bubbles. Cold weather makes it a lot thicker anyway, but nothing like what this is. So we'll mix that in, give it a good mix. Okay, so really bad camera angle, but you can see that one pours in. Still leaves a good long trace on top, but nowhere near what the other one is. So what we'll do is scoop some of that out. Go 4:1 with this stuff. Definitely a lot easier to mix in already. Like, get into my scoop. So there's the scoop. Pours out quite good compared to the other one. Now 9 times out of 10 I don't bother with ratios and things like that. I'm just doing ratios to make it a fair comparison. The problem with the other one is you use way too much Joe Sonia. And once you start putting too much Joe Sonia into your pouring medium, you're going to have problems with your colours breaking up. So you don't really want to add too much. Plus it's expensive. You know, it's like that size bottle there. What is it? I don't know. Can't read. I haven't got glasses. And I'm in denial. I won't get them. But it's, I think it's 250ml or something like that. And that is $20 a bottle. So it gets expensive if you're going to keep pouring Joe Sonia into your mix, and then all your paints crack anyway. Split and do all sorts of weird things. So we'll add 20ml into this one, which is our 4:1. Give that a mix in. Now straight away, you can see that consistency. Is a load better already than the other one. Oop, keep hitting the camera. So that drizzles off the stick really well. We'll try the other one. See how that's thickened already? Like that is just goop. So that's the problem I was having with the Taubman's gloss varnish, gloss store and trim. It goes really thick. Even when you mix the Joe Sonia in, it goes thick and thick and thick. And the more you add to it to thin it out, you leave it for 15-20 minutes or overnight, and it gets thicker and thicker as you go. So what we'll do is I'll mix up a couple of colours. I'll just go two for each. So one tube paint, one pigment. Alright, what shall I use? Pick one I've got loads of. So we'll go a magenta pigment. So that's Dayglow by Barnes. Pink. So what we'll do is make it a fair sort of mix. So we've got one level scoop, another level scoop, so that keeps it fair. Now for dispersing, we'll make it the same. That way we can just use a scoop. Put one of those in. One of those in. We'll go 2 each. That should probably be enough. Okay. Right, so we'll mix these in. That way they're both identical until we mix our pouring medium in, and then we can see the difference in consistency. So this is where ratios really are no good for you when you're doing this sort of thing. I mean, I'll give you a ballpark, but if you've got paints that are thicker and thinner than others, and you just go by a ratio, your consistency is going to be out every time. Because every different brand of paint you use is a different thickness, different consistency. Same goes for your pillow paints. Even from batch to batch, they're a different thickness. You know, a 15 litre container of British Paints pillow paint is actually thinner than a 2 litre can of British Paints. And it's exactly the same paint, same colour, just in a different container. And the consistencies are out right across the different can sizes. Alright, so there's them pigments dispersed. Like so. Beautiful. Both exactly the same amount in each. Now, what we'll do is add 20 ml of the really thick, gooey Taubmans and J. Sonia mix. Okay, so there's your 20 ml. Stick that in this one. Now, I'm not worried about the colours muting or anything like that. I'm just dumping the colour in because I know it's not going to work real good anyway when you use it. Okay, so that's the bad batch. Mix it in. Right, so consistency looks really good there on the bad batch. But we'll give that a few minutes. Put that there. We'll do 20 ml in this one of the good stuff. Okay. Alright, mix that one in. Now I'm pretty much rushing through this. I usually do it a lot slower. I'll put 5 ml at a time in. That way the colours stay true. But for this video, I'm just going to go crazy with it. Alright, so you see the camera really is in the way, but so that drizzles off the stick really nice. That's with the good pourer medium, which is the consistency I want compared to that one that has been only open for a minute or so while I mix the other one, and it's already gooping up. So that is with pigments. So that's the bad one. That's the good one. That one still drizzles. Beautiful. And that one is already thick and dried up. So if you're having problems with consistency of your paints when you mix the pouring medium in and you're using the sheleeart recipe, chances are you could have a really crappy batch of Taubman's Door and Trim. What we'll do is throw a tube paint into the mix and see how that turns out, shall we? So I'll just wipe this scoop out. What colour should we use? Good question. We'll go with some Liquitex Basics. Cobalt blue. So what I'll do is mix 20 ml of the good stuff. Throw that in. Not worried about the colour mixing because all this stuff's going in the bin anyway. Yes, even the good stuff. Then again, I'll probably still use it. But a little bit of pink in there will not hurt it. Not with a blue anyway. You won't notice it. This one we'll put the pink in. The thicker pouring medium. Okay, 20 ml of that. Yeah. Goopy, goopy, goopy. Alright. Make even amounts of paint. There we go. One scoop of that. Okay. Do the same for the other one. Scoop of that. Alright, mix that in. Now that'll go quite thick straight away because it's a tube paint. So that's quite thick there. That's because we didn't add Joe Sonia to disperse pigments. So that's why I usually go a 3-to-1 roughly on a tube paint compared to a 4-to-1 for a pigment. You've got that allowance of Joe Sonia that thins it out when you mix your pigment. So we'll mix this really thick one. And that's thick as. What we'll do is make it evenly fair. We'll add 2 hits of Joe Sonia to that. Two to that. Should give you the same consistency as your pigments. If you were going by ratios. So mix that one in. Starts to thin out a little bit. Still a lot thicker than your pigments. Probably didn't need as much paint as what I put in it, but it's just a fair comparison doing it this way. Now that one there is with the good medium. It's still quite thick, but it flows a lot better than the other one. Now I wouldn't use it at that thickness because it's a little bit thick. Compared to the other one where it just now goops off the stick. Where is my squirt bottle? Good question, Daz. Alright, so squirt bottle with distilled water in it. Give that one squirt. That one squirt. Mix that in. Consistency's getting better. Mix this one in. So that's one squirt. Has thinned out a little bit, but it's still quite goopy compared to this one. So we'll give it each one another squirt each. Probably 2 squirts. Yeah, we'll go 2 squirts. So mix that one in. So by now, if you were going by ratios and just went, okay, it's 1 part paint, couple of parts poor or medium, you'd be way out by now, especially with this. So that's a lot better now. Still a little bit thick for what I'd usually use, but in the ballpark. That leaves probably a 4-second trace. Mix this one in. And that is still really thick. So what I'll do is I'll press pause, leave those like that for 10 minutes, and we'll see what the consistencies are like after that. Okay, we are now exactly 10 minutes in the future. Let's see what the consistencies are like after 10 minutes. So this is the one with the good pour and medium. Still flows really nice. Perfect for what I would use it for. Okay, drizzles off the stick really good. Nice and fluid. Perfect. The one with a bad pour and medium in it, has turned to goop. So that's thickened right up, just over 10 minutes. So overnight, that actually thickens up, so it's solid, like what you saw in the tin originally. Now the tube paint. Still nice and fluid. And with the bad pourer medium, it globs off the stick. Like I said, overnight that'll set rock solid. You'd have to stir it, add water, add Joe Sonia, just to get it to a consistency where you could actually use it. And it's just going to cost you more in the long run. So there you go. If you're having issues with your pouring medium and your colours doing weird things, check your untinted house paint, because it's pretty crazy from batch to batch at the moment. Some are thick, some are thin, some you can't use. My problem was with the first tin, I mixed up, maybe 2 litres of paint, all different colours, and every single one of them overnight were unusable. So that's a hell of a lot of pigment, Joe Sonia, and tube paint that just pretty much goes in the bin. Because once you start adding to it, and adding to it, and adding to it, more water, more Joe Sonia, your colours break up when you start spinning them out for a bloom or a swipe or something like that. So, one thing to keep an eye on, guys. Hopefully that was informative for you. I'm not going to bother painting with these. There's no real point, because that's just goop anyway. So what we'll do is call it a day. Christy from Creations by Christie's up next. So if you click on her name in the title, it'll take you directly to her YouTube page. If you're in the live chat, I'll throw the links in. That way you can just click on the link, bang, takes you straight to her page. If you enjoyed that, click like, share and subscribe. Ring the notification bell. That way you get to see all my videos as they're released. Alright guys, you take care, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.